Questions 1 through 10 on the 2011 grade 11 Fermat math contest. 2 plus 3 times 6 over 23 plus 6 is equal to. So they're just trying to test your order of operation skills. Remember, brackets, exponents, division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So the first one you would do is the multiplication, so that's 18. And then you can proceed with all the additions. So the top becomes 20 and the bottom is 29. So 20 over 29, number 1, the answer is D. If y is 77, then 7y plus 77 over 77 is equal to. So let's substitute 77 for y, like that. And that's all over 77. Now what we can do is we can factor out the 77, and we get 7 plus 1. And that allows us to cross out the 77s in the numerator and denominator. And all you're going to be left with is that 7 plus 1, which is just 8. So number 2, the answer is A. The area of the rectangle shown is 192. What is the perimeter of the rectangle? Well, we'll call this W for width, and this is 24, and that's a given. So they tell us that the area is 192, so that means 24 times W is 192. And that allows us immediately to calculate W. W will be 192 divided by 24, and that is equal to 8. So now we can calculate the perimeter fairly easily. It's going to be 2W plus 2 times 24. W is 8, so that's 16 plus 48. And 16 plus 48 is 64. So the perimeter is 64. Number 3, the answer is A. If the square root of n plus 9 is 25, then n equals. Square root of n plus 9 is equal to 25. Square both sides, and you get n plus 9 is equal to 25 squared. 25 squared is 625, and that is equal to n plus 9. Then subtract 9 from both sides, and you get 625 minus 9, and that is equal to 616, the value of n. Number 4, therefore, is D. In the diagram, S lies on RT, Q2S is 40, QS is equal to QT, and triangle PRS is equilateral. The value of X is. Well, this is equilateral, so all of those are 60s. 60, 60, 60. This is an isosceles triangle, since those two sides are the same, and therefore if this is 40, then this is 40. Now look at all those angles. All the angles about one line add up to 180. So that means that 60 plus x plus 40 is equal to 180. And therefore x is equal to 180 minus 100, which is just 80. So number 5, the answer is C. When 3 consecutive integers are added, the total is 27. When the same 3 integers are multiplied, the result is. So I'll let my integers be x, x plus 1, and x plus 2, because there are 3 consecutive integers, and they are equal when added to 27. So this equation leads me to 3x plus 3 is equal to 27, and therefore 3x is equal to 24, x is equal to 8. So my integers basically are 8, 9, and 10. Then they're saying you take the same 3 integers and multiply them. So they're saying you get 8 times 9 times 10. And what is that? Well, 8 times 9 is 72. 72 times 10 is 720. So number 6, the answer is C. The number halfway between 112 and 1 over 10. Well, some of you are familiar with midpoint. If you want to take the midpoint of a number, of 2 numbers I should say, you would add them and divide by 2. So for example, if our numbers were A and B, you would add them and divide by 2. So for example, if you had 5 and 9 as our numbers, the midpoint would be 5 plus 9, divided by 2, which is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. And 7 is indeed the halfway point between 5 and 9. So you do the same thing with this. It's just fractions, so it's a little bit less obvious. So 1 over 12 plus 1 over 10, and divide by 2. So get a common denominator, 10, 10, 12, 12. So that's 10 plus 12 over 120 and over 1 over 2. So that's 22 over 240. In lowest terms, 11 over 120. And that's it. Number 7, the answer is 11 over 120, which is choice D. The circle graph shown illustrates the results of a survey taken by the Fermat High School Student Council to determine the favorite cafeteria food. How many of the 200 students surveyed said that their favorite food was sandwiches? Well, pizza is 30% of the students, and there's 200 students, right? So 30% of 200 is 60. Cookies. Well, cookies, they don't give you a percentage, but they give you this little symbol here, and that's 90 degrees. And 90 degrees represents a quarter of a circle, so it's 25%. 25% of 200 is 50. And then fries is 35%, and 35% of 200 is 70. Well, what's our tally so far? 60, 50, and 70 is 180. So the 200 students, 180 are accounted for. So that must mean the remaining 20 students are the ones that chose sandwiches. And that's the answer to the question. So number 8, the answer is 20, which is choice B. The set 1 to 50 contains the first 50 positive integers. After multiples of 2 and multiples of 3 are removed, how many numbers remain in the set? Well, there's a long way and a short way. I'll show you the short way. There's 50 numbers, right? You have to subtract from that all the multiples of 2. So it would be 50 divided by 2. And you take the integer value. Then you also have to take away all the multiples of 3. So 50 divided by 3, the integer value. But this is the part that a lot of students miss. You have to then add all the multiples of 2 and 3. So any number that is a multiple of 2 and a multiple of 3, and those would be multiples of 6. Because the reason you add them is because you've subtracted them, you've counted them twice, here and here. You've counted 6, for example, here, and the number 6 is also included there. Any multiple of 6 is included in both of these. For example, 12 is included in this set, and 12 is also included in that set. So you've double counted multiples of 6, so you have to add one of those double counts back. So this becomes 50 minus 25 minus 16 plus 8. And that is equal to 17. So number 9, the answer is D. In the diagram, PQRS is a square. Square PQRS is divided into 5 rectangles as shown. The area of the shaded rectangle is. All right, PQRS is a square, so that means all sides are the same. This side, they give you the full length, 2 and 9. So that means the full side is 11. So if the full side of the square is 11, and that's 8 right there, then that must mean this is 3. And this is 3. All right, let's see what else. This whole side is 11, but this is 10, so that must mean that this little guy is 1. So that's 1 right there. And since that from there to there is 8, and that is 1, that must mean from here to here is 7. And similarly, from here to here is 6, but from here to here is 2, so that must mean from here to here is 4. And that's it. That's all we need to calculate the area of the shaded region. Area of the shaded region is just length times width, so that's going to be 7 times 4, and that is 28. So number 10, the answer is B.